This show is brought to you by PIvx, Private Instant Verified Transactions. With its groundbreaking zero-coin staking and masternodes, PIvx is the top privacy currency. Feel free to trade some on Binance or Bittrex, and for more information, go to www.pivx.org. Hello and welcome to ITK Crypto, part of Smart Reach with me, Tom White, and Cryptosi is here as well. Cryptosi, what you been up to? You've been a busy man in the crypto world lately.
Yeah, been super busy helping launch new projects and just trying to keep an eye on things. Things are picking up now, so crypto's becoming great again.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I wonder what our guest today feels about that as well. It's Chad from Rhubarb Media, the first person to actually join us twice so far on our podcast. He was so good the first time.
Ooh.
We've got him back on. Chad, thanks very much for coming on. How are you?
Doing well, gents. Good to be back on here. Feel honored to be 2 times.
Yeah, well, so you should as well. We're going to get into what Cryptosi was saying there about things picking up in a moment. Just to recap, just let the listeners know who you are and what your role is within crypto.
Sure. Most people know me on the Discord channels and socials as Rhubarbarian. So we have a company called Rhubarb Media, and we generally focus on creative, so ideas, ideation, and then branding and design for all forms. And so my role with PIvx has been primarily, initially a lot of marketing and creative, but last year or so been just focusing on supporting the different divisions and departments with a creative role and filling in, volunteering as much as I can to help out in other areas, web and marketing in general, social posts. The chair we like to sit in is ideas and creative marketing.
I think the link to the last interview we did with you is going to be in the description. But something that was of interest to Cryptosi and I at the time was that you used to be a pastor. Can you recap on that?
Correct. Yeah. So my first half of my career life, I was initially a student ministries pastor, so a youth pastor with kids, junior high, high school, college, and then I moved into an area of creative communication, so overseeing the arts within a church body. So large churches with artists, studio musicians, and different artists, and so the last half of my pastoral career was in that arena, and most of it was being in my creative zone was great, but being with people, helping them, going through life, just being a shoulder or an ear to to listen to. But probably I think it was 13 plus years in kind of full-time church, and then the last half of my career has been Rhubarb Media, and still quite involved, but now I'm more in the business world.
You told us a little bit there about what's been going on in the last 12 months and so for you, but how has it been for you? And just give us a bit more detail as to what you've been doing.
Sure. We've been through about 2.5 years now since we were with PIvx launched. And of course, everyone will forever remember 2017 as the rocket ship year, the moon, the Mars year, whatever. 2018 was pretty hard for a lot of people, and but overall, we went through. There's a lot of things going on within the project, and a lot of people, new people coming, some going, and overall, we're hitting 2019. I believe with the beginning of the year, we started to see a lot more energy and kind of new wind coming into the sales. Price is price, and that's whatever. But if you follow the community and a lot of the projects that have been popping up alongside and within and launching out of, quite excited about the future for this project. And even more recently, I think we're going to see some great things coming out soon.
Do you think that we're now, I mean, you've said how things have picked up, Cryptosi said how things have picked up. Are we out of the bear market now?
Yeah, I haven't a clue. I don't really follow, charts and stats and predictions and those kind of things. I see overall more trends as it relates to the human side of crypto and being a community manager. So I see the ebb and flow of energy and kind of people's attitudes and things. And so we were up and we were down, and now I can feel an upswing. And I would think that would coincide with the markets as well. So I'm hoping that we're heading towards a more profitable and exciting upward trend. But these things take time, and crypto is still young and PIvx is still young. So trying not to see the kind of the stone, right? Focusing on the stones in front of me as we need to walk on, but kind of looking at the horizon, and you don't really see what's over the hill. But I really think there's some positive stuff coming.
That last sentence you said there very much sounded like a pastor speaking. Focus on the stones in front of you. I like
Sorry,
it.
Little parables are coming. Yeah.
No, it's great. I like it. Cryptosi, when we talk about things picking up, what do you think there of what Chad was saying about the bear market potentially being over?
I think it's probably important to say that it's now June 2019, so we can look back on this in a year or so and be like, yes, those guys were right as usual. But yeah, the people I've spoken to who do really care about charts and cycles are pretty unanimous in that we're now moving into a bull market with the next halving coming up next summer, and just the general vibe around crypto, not just within crypto but around crypto. There seems to be more interest in it from outside companies, from big companies, more searches on Google and things like that. Those sorts of stats are up as well. So I think we are definitely within the bull market. I think it's also really interesting, and it bodes well, I would probably say, for Chad, that he's not too fussed as to whether or not it's a bull market or a bear market, because I think crypto can be a lot more enjoyable and probably beneficial to people when they're not trying to make money out of it. So I think it's quite a testament to the type of guy Chad is, but it also probably will stand him in good stead. So the next time a bear market comes, hopefully he won't even notice again, and he'll keep on doing the good work that he's been doing thus far.
I think the positive, the feeling is, that this is definitely a more positive time than it has been.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
And what do you, when you say in there, Cryptosi, I found it quite interesting how you're talking about Chad not getting too bothered about whether it was a bull market or bear market. What is the problem with are some people too focused on that and trying to make money quickly?
Yeah, I'm definitely, and not always particularly quickly, but it's just with crypto, the real value is in the technology. The real value is not in the money you can make out of investing in the technology early. The real value is in the technology. One interesting thing that happened last year, kind of to some fanfare, but no, I don't think a lot of people really got it, was that a guy called Charlie Lee, who is he was one of the main mouthpieces for Litecoin, which has long been considered Bitcoin's biggest rival before Ethereum, possibly because it's quite similar to Bitcoin, but it's only slightly different. So anyway, this guy, Charlie Lee, he decided to sell all of his Litecoin, and he made it public. He said look, everybody, I'm selling all of my Litecoin because I'm sick of being in this conflict of interest between fattening my pockets and advancing this technology. And I think for the people who aren't trying to fatten their pockets, the actual focus of advancing the technology and delivering all the good that it promises seems to be a little bit easier to achieve. And that's kind of what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you, Chad?
Oh, definitely. I think when you set aside the emotions and the angst about, am I making money, losing money, up and down all day, you really can start to see some of the more valuable aspects of blockchain in general and cryptocurrency. If you want to focus on that as well, there are aspects of the technology that are still young, but even at this moment, they're making inroads into a lot of mainstream use. And the ability, especially for PIvx, so we started off wanting to be, community centric, and a coin that, that wants to do good in the world and change culture, change lives. The future of that is it's unknown, but we can see the potential in helping people, whether it's in giving, philanthropy, helping startups, all kinds of ways that the currency can help. But then you add blockchain in general, and then you're like, oh wow, like the sky's the limit to what the blockchain technology could do for not just our economy but our culture. So yeah, if you focus on those bright lights that are kind of in the future and not get too hung up on some of the hurdles and barriers and angst about the now, it can carry you through. It's almost like you lasso yourself to that future and you just kind of hang on, because you're going to be bumped around along the way, but at least you have that tether to keep you going.
It's quite interesting, because it's great that we're keeping it very positive at the moment. But tell us about some of the difficulties you've had over the past year since we last spoke to you.
This podcast has been brought to you by Rhubarb Media. Rhubarb Media are the branding specialists behind successful crypto projects such as PIvx, Vendible, and Libertaria. The Rhubarb style is both loved and respected the world over. So if you want your project to appeal to techies and everyday users alike, give Rhubarb Media a try. You cannot possibly be disappointed. Link is in the description.
I think overall communication is still an issue within a lot of these projects, and so that's been hard for me. And it's not just because people can't communicate or they don't want to, and maybe I'm an over communicator, and so that's my issue. But just the DAO is just it's a beast. Like, I think it's got amazing potential and it works, but then there's I'm not going to call it the dark side of the DAO, but it's just it's not as easy to maneuver in when you don't have the structure or you don't have the kind of line of command. And we hate the word authority and those kind of things, but leadership is critical in any project, and communication is central. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing. It's just trying to figure out ways to communicate, and realizing that within a project like this, you may have to pivot your philosophy, and how to communicate is different. And then that it expedites, because now you're working with different cultures. So with my work and support with the PIvx ambassadors, I'm learning all kinds of things about how cultures and different language people groups communicate, and and then how that gets transposed into English. So what I say in English may sound something terrible in some other language, or vice versa. If they translate what they're trying to say, it may come across as cold and harsh in English. So realizing culture and emotions and mindset and skills, it's all wrapped around how we communicate. And I like to call it a dance. It's like a choreography, and you have to learn kind of your partner's moves, and you have to understand who they are and where, and there has to be such a high level of trust so that you can both move properly. And so it's an ongoing choreography that has to happen. And I don't think we've hit it yet. We're still having issues here and there with trying to figure it out, especially from a tech and marketing side. And that's a historic battle between engineers and creatives. We like to take whatever we can get and and produce something great to get people excited. On the other side, the engineers would be like, well, that pipe doesn't bend that way, so we can't do that, right? So it's really a delicate dance.
It's quite interesting that, because it's actually not something that I would have ever kind of considered, and you've put that really well. Something that I'm keen to get into, and it's been massive news, is that Facebook is set to launch its own crypto. What do you make of that? And how interested in it are you?
I'm somewhat interested. I mean, I'm looking sideways at it a little bit because, there's been, trying to create advertising within Facebook has been hard as a cryptocurrency project because there's rules and banning and stuff. And now all of a sudden they're coming out and we're like, oh, we love crypto and we're going to become a coin. I think they see the potential like we do, and I think they're late to the game. Good thing for them is they've got billions of dollars, so probably going to make a go at it. It's a little bit scary that it's tied so much to Facebook and we already seen the potential to invade privacy. So I'm a little nervous as to their motives. And I think that's where it really comes down to in all these projects is what are your motives? If they're just in to make money, but also to tie into their growth, I'm not really excited about it. I'm more excited about a project that wants to, like I said, make a difference, change culture, make life better. So good on them if they're going to make a lot of money at it, but
Cryptosi, what do you think about it? Because it's something that when we do a news roundup, this is something that we'll get into. But let's talk about it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what does interest me. Almost as much as Facebook having a currency, it's how much Chad has changed over the past few years. It's interesting that when you do first come into crypto, sometimes you can come in quite positive and not seeing the skeptical side of things. But with crypto, there are so many. I don't want to say that Facebook coin will be a scam, but there are so many scams. There are so many ways that you can misuse the power that it's kind of like a sign of someone's age within crypto, that when something like Facebook coin is presented, that they're kind of like, well, all well and good, you're creating a coin, but what do you plan to do with it? And for me, with the whole Facebook coin, I'm just going to call it a show for now, the whole Facebook coin show, I think they can change cultures with it. Facebook can change cultures basically with a lot of the things that they do because they are so embedded now in cultures. But I honestly don't think that they will be trying to do anything for the better. I don't think that's part of the reason why Facebook exists. I think that for them, it will be about making money. If that is invading people's privacy and gaining more knowledge about people by the things that they spend, because let's bear in mind with blockchain, you've always got an immutable copy of all of the transactions. So if Facebook have an immutable copy of all of the transactions that you spend with their coin, they're just going to add it to their big data and they'll sell it to the highest bidder, and nobody really benefits from it apart from them. So I think I'll join Chad in being very, very skeptical about a Facebook coin. But also on the positive side, like Chad highlighted, it does show that they are embracing blockchain, which I don't know if blockchain needs that kind of pat on the back at this stage in its development, but it is a good thing to see. So I'm glad that they're using blockchain. I just am very skeptical with what they will do with it. That's the thing I worry about.
Is this something? I mean, if Facebook, whether they do use this for the right reasons or not, if Facebook are absolutely huge, they're one of the biggest, companies, if that's the right word for it, in the world. Is this going to be happening now to companies just as big and then filter down? That's to either of you, by the way.
Well, for me, I think Facebook are in a unique position that they already have traffic. People are already communicating on Facebook. So I think all of the massive companies where people communicate directly to each other, they've all got a shot at making a currency of their own, because that's basically all there is. It's just a way of communicating, a way of sharing value or sharing communications. So I think it could catch on. I'd say the next biggest suspects would be companies like other social media companies, even messaging apps like WhatsApp, Kakao in Asia. Those sorts of things I think are other potential massive companies that could be jumping on the bandwagon. I don't know if Chad has other ideas.
Yeah, I think especially in social media as it relates to mobile device and apps. I mean, the idea of your device doing everything for you with ease and speed means that these apps are heading towards taking over your life. I mean, you look at WhatsApp and other things that are happening in Asia. I mean, it's the one app to rule the world, and you do everything with it. You buy stuff, you sell stuff, you chat, you tip. And I think that's probably one of the things that Facebook is seeing, that they're going to get into the commerce world and start to use crypto as the means of buying and selling and just kind of life stuff. So I think it's already here. We have apps that are doing that even within the blockchain. Thinking of one called Kick, and others are definitely embracing the implementation of blockchain technology so that it can encompass everything we want to do in life, and mostly around the economy. But I think it's already here.
Well, Chad, Cryptosi and I were listening back to our last interview with you, and there's a question that we ask every single one of our guests, right? And we've noticed that you ended up getting away with it, whether it's the way I worded the question or the fact that you gave a very clever answer. We are going to get it out of you this time, right? Because what we ask everybody, and we get some great answers here, is if you had to go all in on a project, which would it be and why? But you're not allowed to say PIvx, all right? So you've got no easy get out clause.
This is difficult because my company's Rhubarb Media, so we do a lot of work. Obviously, PIvx is just a part of what we do. So I'm not so embedded into like researching a whole whack of other projects. And I touch down and go, oh, that's interesting. And then I pop out. So I don't get into it so deeply to go like, man, I'm like going to be all over this. A lot of times it's like hyper confusing to figure out exactly what they're doing. So that for me, it's like, well, I'd rather burn my brain cells somewhere else. So I saw that question, and I remember I didn't answer it last time, or at least I probably said, I don't know, but I'm kind of at the same state. Maybe I just need to broaden my time limit browsing some of these other projects. But we do touch, different projects come into play. A lot of people that are, forking PIvx and doing other things. So if I could say, okay, so yeah, you're getting me here. So conflict of interest. I'm part of the Vendible crew, but I'm really excited about Vendible. Is that considered a PIvx thing? Probably it shouldn't be.
Well, Cryptosi, is this within the rules?
Oh, do you know what? It's borderline. I think we can let it slide because it's a clever adaptation of the rules. It is borderline, I'd say.
So I'm probably not as crypto savvy and engrossed in it. Listen, if you guys want me on the third time, I'll try and spend some more time loving on some other projects. I'll come back. I'll start the whole interview with, this is my project.
So Chad has bought himself a year to answer the question we asked him a year ago.
Oh my gosh.
I like it.
Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? I was going to say there was a guy. That's a quick story. There is a guy called Vinay Gupta, who's like one of the main reasons I got into crypto. Really, really smart guy, Scottish guy. And he was asked during the launch of Ethereum, because he was one of the, I don't know if he was pivotal, but he was around during the launch of Ethereum. And they said to him something about Dash. Now, Dash at the time, I think, was maybe the 5th biggest cryptocurrency by market cap. It was a huge deal. And they said, oh, will it do X, Y, or Z similar to Dash? And he honestly had never heard of Dash. And I remember thinking to myself, how can this guy be in crypto at that level and not know what's around him? Now, for me, at this point, I'll be absolutely honest here, without doing the Smart Reach, ITK podcasts and stuff, I wouldn't have a clue about what's happening in other projects, because there's so much meat in any single project. You could quite comfortably get lost and not know anything about any of the others. So I do sympathize with Chad there, because it is a really tough question, especially when we remove the get out clause of saying that the project that you're in is the one that you would theoretically go all in on.
Yeah, it's a tough question, but it's our favorite question. Like, Chad, where can people go? Where can people go to find out more about you?
I'm always in PIvx Discord and channels, but for my the company that truly pays my mortgage, rhubarbmedia.ca is our website. As you mentioned, pastorpixel.com. So that's kind of a side wing of Rhubarb. But if you really want to chat with me, come on into the PIvx Discord. I'm all over the place.
Well, 2 years in a row, and we'll get you on, and hopefully it's more positive news about crypto, because this one's been a very, very positive podcast in that sense, whereas things weren't quite so great in the world of crypto this time last year.
Yeah.
Cryptosi, thank you very much indeed for your time, but especially to you, Chad.
Hey, thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
This podcast was brought to you by Meros Cryptocurrency. Meros is a cryptocurrency payment system that does what cryptocurrency originally intended to do. Be a practical and secure form of direct payment, Meros utilizes the best of current technology in a powerful new way and introduces a groundbreaking consensus mechanism called merit caching. This enables Meros to be both feeless and instant while maintaining the same level of integrity of traditional networks like Bitcoin. To find out how you can participate in the future of crypto payments, go to meroscrypto.io now.